Alright, welcome sim racers and sim racing fans. Glad to have you here. This is Carlin Hicks and you are listening to Inside SCL Racing, the SCL news podcast for the SCL Racing Network. You can find us there on the website. We race off of Project Cars 2 on the PlayStation 4. And we are smack dab in the middle of Season 24. Heading into week 6 of 10, and we are going to catch you up here on everything going on. A review of week 5. Looking forward to we'll take a look at what happened at the Texas Motor Speedway and at Spa last weekend in week 5, and we'll give you a preview of the remaining races in week 6. We have completed the first race of the weekend at Road America and the IndyCar. Is a rather historic event that we're going to report on here shortly as well. So we're glad to have you with us. Hang tight and we'll get you caught up on everything here in the SCL Racing Network. Alright, we're going to start by looking back last week at the Winston Cup Series race from Texas Motor Speedway, the Lone Star 300, the Winston Cup car's second trip to the mile-and-a-half oval this season. A couple weeks back in round 3, longtime veteran Twindy got the win in the World 600, but it was going to be a dogfight at the Lone Star 300, and you are looking at the final results there. Hossack taking his second win of the season and the 8th Winston Cup career win for the Season 22 Series champion, as he was able to win from the pole for Apex Motorsport. Cali Vitals and Twindy, both of TOW Racing, managed to bring those cars in 2 and 3 and having a terrific day for the TOW Racing's team points. Meanwhile, yours truly, Carlin Hicks, rounding out a 4th place finish and rounding out the top 5, the defending Winston Cup champion Baron von Stosch. It was a very, very good event. Very clean. I believe there were only 1 or 2 cautions in the event. We had a very clean start to that show. Hossack got out on the pole and used that track position very much to his advantage. Twindy and Cali were hanging with him for a portion of the way, but he was able to hang on. Any one of us top 4 very close there in the early running of the race, but as the race went on old tires, Hossack took off, as I said, his second win of the season after he captured his second Daytona 500 victory at the Daytona International Speedway. But this race was a very good show. As you can see, a couple other solid finishes. Johnny Benson managing to bring it home in 7th on the Sunday Cup League account. A bit of a tough finish from Stay Down Killen, the longtime veteran, former Daytona 500 winner, was able to qualify 3rd, only brought home an 8th place finish as he was among those cars that were a lap down. Hossack, as he said, as you can see, finishing on his own lap thanks to his tire strategy. I believe he did not take tires on his last stop and chopped it up on the field. So another fantastic run there at the Lone Star 300, and now we're going to take a look at what that will mean for the Winston Cup Series standings heading into the Firecracker 400 in week 6. And as you can see by the standings here at the midway point of the season, still a very tight battle. As I said, Season 22 Series champion Hossack still out in front as he looks to win his second Winston Cup championship. Twindy just 8 points back. Baron von Stosch, the defending Winston Cup Series champion, at 13 back, with Cali and Season 21 champion Carlin Hicks within 25 race points, which is of course the amount of points for a race win. A little bit of a separation back there from 6 through 10, as those cars very close between 6 and 9, all back through 6 through 13 really. So the battle to get in the top 10 in provisional land, very, very solid. What that story telling you, 3 poles, 2 wins this season for Hossack. He's been in the top 5 4 times. Motor trouble, DNFs on Carlin Cali Vital's part has definitely, Baron von Stosch has played a part in the point standings, but we're halfway through the season with halfway to go. Never really can tell how it's going to go. You've got the big swing race at Daytona coming. The Firecracker 400 has a reputation of whoever wins that race coming out and winning the Winston Cup Series. When I myself won the championship in season 21, took the points lead after winning at the Firecracker 400. So it's a tough race. It's a historic race. Rita St. James became the first female to win an SCL championship points event back in season 19 at this race. So it's held a lot of history. As I said, it's the 13th running, goes all the way back to season 12. But looking at those points tables, as you said, it's really going to be a shakedown. Number of full-time drivers up there trying to hang on into the top 10 spot. We've seen the return of Kipps and Team Danamore. Right now it's a two-team battle between Apex and TOW for the team championship, but well, we should see how it plays out going forward. Daytona's a tough track, and it can be a big swing depending on who gets into the big one. I'd say any one of the top 5 there are still viable championship contenders. 3 of those drivers have won the Winston Cup Championship in the past. Hossack, Barron, and Carlin Hicks, in fact, are the last 3 Winston Cup Series champions. So we'll just have to see how that's going to play out as we head down the stretch in the season. Alright, last week the Camel GT Series on Saturday nights headed out to Spa, the premier sports car series in the SCL. It was for a debut event, the Super Enduro, the 4 hours of Spa. First time the SCL's gone there for a points paying event, as the Camel GT Series, one of the 4 Rolex Endurance Cup races, on top of being round 5 of 10 in the SCL Camel GT Series. We do have news in the Camel GT Series for next season. We will be back to 2 classes, but for this season, the 3 groups of cars were all out there for the 4-hour Enduro. They had to spend a minimum of 80 minutes out of the car with the finely tuned AI co-driver putting their time in, and you are looking at the results in the top class in the LMP2s. It was Baron von Stosch picking up yet another win. Going to pull up my data archives here for the Camel GT Series. Going to look at the schedule and results. Baron with another win in the Camel GT Series. I believe that puts him up to about 7 or 8 at this point. I'd have to check my stats. Warren Kyle Keith for Sega Keith Motorsports was a solid second. He was a little disappointed. This was one of his specialty tracks. He was considered a favorite here for sure, but it was Baron von Stosch who took the win from the pole. Kick-Ass Wookie, the rookie driver for Team Danamore, doing very solid to come in on the podium. He had a hell of a duel with HCC from Sega Keith Motorsports as well, running down towards the end of the race. Those 2 were seconds apart at the finish. And 5th and last in class, whose name you're not quite missing there, was Rosta for Benson Speed Equipment. He was able to bring home a 5th place finish. Struggled with the car throughout the middle portion of the race, but overall a very solid run there for the P2 class. And we're going to take a look at what that does for the point standings, as it was the 3rd round of the Rolex Endurance Cup, but this is the point standings for the Camel GT Series in the LMP2 class. Of course, the big story in the points tables on the weekend was Hossack, the defending Camel GT LMP champion from season 23, failing to qualify. He and Barron were neck and neck. Barron ahead on tiebreakers coming into the race, but the 2 Apex teammates, Hossack, failed to make the top 5 through the time trials and chose to run in an open spot in the GT3 class, which we will get to in a minute, but that opened up the standings. Barron now has a full race lead with that 4 Hours of Spa win. That was his third win of the season, giving him, I believe, now 8 Camel GT victories for his career. So he is in the driver's seat to try to claim his first Camel GT title. He won the Winston Cup Championship last season, so he's showing himself to be a well-rounded driver. Kick-ass Wookie, the current rookie points leader, and yours truly, suffering from Carlin Hicks, suffering from similar thing there to Hossack, actually. I won at Willow Springs, failed to qualify in the class at Long Beach, and changes up the points tables quite a bit there, as we're going to look down at the next. Looking at the GTE class, this has been a tremendously competitive class all season. Will be back next season with an expanded roster, as the GT3s will be phased out. But the GTE class, the race here at Spa, 4 hours, grueling in these heavy, high downforce, high-powered cars. And it was Shano Kano picking up his second consecutive victory. Shano getting his first career Camel GT Series win a week before at the Brickyard Grand Prix. He was able to come back and win for the second straight week. Outlasted a different strategy from the defending GTE class champion from season 23, the Zebra for Benson Speed Equipment. Shano for Renaissance Racing came up with an in-and-out performance. Zebra ran the entire double stint, much like yours truly did in the GT3 class. He ran a double stint and let the co-driver finish for him. It did not work out. Shano pulled out in front. Rita St. James for JME coming home a solid third, and in his debut SCL race, Rockabilly Outlaw, the rookie runs the 4 Hours of Spa and completes it in his first SCL start, so he gets a lot of props, gets 17 points in the GTE class because of it. And now we'll take a look at the point standings. Looks like the Zebra from Benson Speed Equipment, he's in real good shape at mid-season to defend his Camel GT Series GTE class championship from a season ago, as he has posted 113 points. He's the only driver to complete all 5 races at this point. He's been in the podium every single race, so he has been very solid. He has 1 win. Shano, that's a typo there. Shano actually has 2 wins, with the win at the Brickyard Grand Prix and at Spa. And you got to believe he might be able to chop away, but if the Zebra can just stay consistent the rest of the way, I think the championship might be his. He was the breakout driver last season. Shano, now in his 3rd season, has been the breakout driver this season. Rita, in 4 races in the class, did not start the season planning on running GTE. She's run solid. She's within 39 points of the lead, and moving right along as Apex Motorsport and JME are going back and forth for the Camel GT Team Championship. Every point Rita scores has been solid. Progar has shown some really good finishes, as well as has its PT. Alright, the GT3 class was quite a story in the 4 hours at Spa. O'Brien from JME Motorsports, 4th season driver, had a breakout the last couple of weeks. He was able to pick up his first 2 career wins at Long Beach and Indianapolis, and he came into Spa looking to get his 3rd consecutive win in the class. But there would be a surprise. Hossack from Apex Motorsport failing to qualify, surprisingly, in the defending class champion, failing to qualify in the LMP2 class. He took an at-large entry in the GT3s and wound up running out to the victory. Haas ran a terrific race early on, was able to take the win there. O'Brien brought it home in 2nd and maintained a solid points day for him. Muttley and Carlin Hicks in the Sunday Cup League account were able to round out that field. Alright, so that's what makes the GT3 standings look like this. At mid-season, O'Brien for JME has a sizable lead, 62 points, nearly insurmountable as long as he runs solid. He's won 3 poles and 2 races on the season, been on the podium in every race. Tiernizzle has 2 wins in his only 2 starts part-time, but nobody really challenging him. Cat Guy, Muttley, Warren, those guys have made all spot starts, so there really are no other full-time drivers making a serious run at him. And O'Brien looks like he's going to win. The GT3 will be GT3 Class will be phased out of Camel GT after this season, but O'Brien's done an excellent job. His GTE driving last season helped lead JME Motorsports to the team championship, and now in season 24 he's in prime position to work his way to a Camel GT Series championship. All right, heading into last night's Road America 300 IndyCar Series race, these were the standings coming in. Yours truly, Carlin Hicks, the longtime veteran, still looking for that first IndyCar Series championship, and in the driver's seat at the moment going into the round, a 25-point lead over the defending IndyCar Series champion from season 23, Rita St. James, his teammate with JME Motorsports, Tiernizzle, Cat Guy, and O'Brien from Apex Motorsport, TOW Racing, and JME Motorsports respectively, rounding out the top 5 with a couple of comers. Former Indianapolis 500 champion D.W. McFreak, Daz, its PT, rounding Wookie, and the Zebra rounding out the top 10. Very solid looking standings. We head to the second half of the season. Big swing races at the road course at Watkins Glen. Brands Hatch will definitely be an interesting one. Honestly, have to feel that the 2 Texas races, the Texas 500 and the Firestone 400, with JME's performances at those tracks, it's going to be tough to overcome them. It was like last season, it was myself chasing Rita St. James on her way to the championship, and I believe that what you're going to see is a similar thing here this season, as Carlin Hicks, now in the driver's seat, may finally get that IndyCar Series title, but we'll talk about last night's Road America 300 here in a moment, and discuss how that played out. Farther down in the standings, D.W. McFreak, as I said, 3-time pole winner at Indianapolis. He's the season 21 Indy 500 champion, has been steadily climbing. He would have a good points day last night at the Road America 300 to add to that total. And the current Rookie of the Year standings leader, Kick-Ass Wookie, he's been, I believe, the Rookie of the Year leader in all 3 of the major series, which I do not believe has ever been accomplished before in SCL history, for a driver to capture all 3 of those. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Meanwhile, this last week, as last night, the opening of the Road America, the 3rd season we've gone there, as we first made the trip to Road America in season 22, this season 24, Road America 300 for the SCL IndyCar Series for season 24. Winner 2 seasons ago in 22 in the inaugural event was Tiernizzle. It was yours truly, Carlin Hicks, getting the win last season, and last night we saw it repeat as yours truly, Carlin Hicks, on the Sunday Cup League account, was able to take the win in a fantastic duel with D.W. McFreak from Team Dana Moore Racing coming in 2nd, Rita St. James in 3rd, Shane O'Kano coming from the 4th place qualifying spot to finish in 4th, and Kick-Ass Wookie, the rookie driver, with a solid top 5. As you see the remainder of the running order, there were 12 finishers on the board, I believe, as well. Warren wound up back in 12th, did not finish the race, had a disappointing run after qualifying 2nd. D.W. McFreak took his 3rd pole of the season and managed to run down to 2nd. The big story, however, here was, of course, the record. Yours truly, Carlin Hicks, 18th career IndyCar Series win. That ties Kip's Haulin' Ass for the tops all time on the list. The next one of us to win an IndyCar race will own the record outright. So that was something definitely was a great surprise and a great honor to get that. Kip's, of course, a 5-time IndyCar Series champion. I raced I've raced with him for many, many years, and matching any record that he has was is definitely an honor. That race was a very good show. As you can see by the gap there, Freak and myself very, very close. Got him on a restart after one of the very few cautions in the race. 300K is a long way at that track, but Rita coming home with a solid third place finish. Shane O'Kano fourth, as we said, and Wookie in fifth. Anyhow, that should wrap us up. Any information you want, you can get at the website there, sundaycupleague.wix.com/SCRN. We will be on the air later on today for the Road America Grand Prix in the Camel GT Series, and on Sunday, Winston Cup will be at Daytona for the Firecracker 400. This is Carlin Hicks signing out for here on Inside SCL Racing. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you at the track.